It's funny how all our selfish desires are actually fulfilled by helping and serving others. It's a really weird little paradox here. Um, there is this amazing concept, a thing that you find in all religious texts, in all books of wisdom, and it is service. It is service, and I kind of had a weird mixed feeling about service for a while. I thought that was just totally denying yourself, losing everything of yourself, and basically having a shit go and having to give everything good that you have to others and losing everything that you have. That was my original, view of service. But then I got into this book called The Prosperous Coach, and I discovered more about the true nature of service, which I'm really grateful for learning. And I realized that service is one of the most beautiful states and ways of being that you could be in. And if you were to just increase your service in the world, out into the world, you would increase all the rewards and all the good things that would come back to you. And it's really, really, really awesome perspective. And it got me thinking about my own channel. How can I increase the service to you? How can I be of more impact, of more of a contribution? And then also, another question you got to ask when you're in service, a part of the whole that is getting served is you. A lot of the time, we forget about ourselves in the equation of everyone. And if other people are deserving of being served, then you too are deserving of being served. Um, so, so by serving others, we actually serve ourselves. There's an awesome concept called non-duality, where everything is one. And if that is actually true, like if you just go past your intellectual thoughts and you just had faith that everything was one, and you just started serving someone else in a beautiful, deep, kind way, then you would actually be serving yourself, because you yourself are a part of the whole. You aren't separate from it. So there's nothing really lost in your giving. And a lot of different texts, a lot of different sources of wisdom talk about how giving more and giving more actually increases your wealth. And it's a pretty paradoxical. Why would losing or giving away be a source of wealth? Um, and it's kind of this weird kind of magical thing that goes on. It's a strange interaction that when you give, you actually receive more as well. And I believe there's even some Jewish literature, Jewish wisdom literature, that actually goes on about how if you give, you basically multiply what you give by 10 back to you. So whatever you give in a large way, you actually receive in an even larger way. Now, I don't really know about the math on that. I don't really know the certainty on that, but within my own life, it makes sense. Um, when I've just served from a space of loving life and loving others, amazing opportunities and really cool things have come back to me in my life. I used to run a like this kind of like young men's support group back in high school, and I just kind of used it as a really awesome platform to serve young men and just have an awesome vibe together. And when those young men actually got into year 12, they were begging to have me back at the school and talk and do like a program or two, which was something that was really exciting. And so finally, the service seeds that I planted way back, like almost, 8 years ago, more than probably now, actually were seeds that grew and sprouted many years later. So, what I want to kind of encourage you towards, if you're still listening and if you're still out there, is an attitude of service, a way of being towards the world that is of service. I think it's a beautiful design that in order to serve yourself, you need to serve others. I've heard it saying that service is like paying rent here on planet Earth. It's like you're paying rent for existing. It's a really awesome thing. And what better way to spend your life? When you realize that the money won't fulfill you, you realize that all these kind of vacuous and grabbing sort of pleasures like status, having really cool clothes, and you know, driving cool cars, when you realize the attention, admiration of others isn't enough, then you have to add in service. You have to add in giving to others, making a real impact, making a difference, alleviating the suffering in the world, and creating more joy in the world. I think that's an awesome pursuit. And it is something that is the natural progression of things. And ironically, if you look at a business, what is a business but a service? What is a product but a service to you? It's incredible the amount of service I get on this Apple iPhone Pro Max 15. It is something that I paid 1,800 for. And some people might say, hey, that's heaps of money. But how are you going to go ahead and make an Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max? You could spend a lifetime trying to design it and put it together and put all the pieces together without the knowledge and the wherewithal and you know the understanding of engineering and different things and design and you know IT and coding. You're not going to get anywhere close to the iPhone within a lifetime. Who knows? You might be a genius, but instead of that, you could just work like 2 weeks or something, like a fortnight basically of pay, and you could literally have this amazing piece of engineering in your hand. You're being served by Apple. You can also pay money to have food brought to you. And it's a beautiful thing because that money and the way the economy goes is that the more that you give, it actually has a knock-on effect. Say you pay $15 for your lunch, and people might complain about, you know, paying too much for lunch and inflation, whatever. But say you pay $20 for lunch, and some of that profit and money goes towards the worker who made it. It keeps them employed, and they can use it to spend on whatever they would like. And you pay more money towards the business owner. Say even if the business owner actually, you know, keeps a lot of the money and spends it on luxury goods, and it seems as though it's not going anywhere. But even the luxury designers need employees, need marketing, need sales, and they eventually trickle down, and eventually the money comes around. Now, some say that trickle down economics doesn't work, and that's probably true. I believe that in some parts of the economy, things are stagnant, like the money doesn't always get around. But eventually, it has to. Eventually, if money gains a huge mass and inequality is too great, it will break down and eventually be redistributed to the masses. See, money flows when you pay something. When you flow the economy, it's better for everyone. I didn't really understand that, but essentially that's another form of service, a gift of money. It's exchange of services, really. So whatever you give and create in the world, it creates more abundance. So service is this opportunity and an amazing thing that you can get into. The other cool thing about service is that it gets you out of your head. It gets you out of your selfishness, and it gets you into the mind of serving others and giving to others. And that's just a more beautiful world. That leads to a more beautiful world. And you just basically means less suffering. It's very fulfilling to help and contribute to others. And so I want to, for my YouTube channel, be more of service. I want to see what I'm doing as a contribution to very least myself for sharing and understanding and ideating, and to others who might listen to this. I'm out here on a whim, on a slight possibility that if somebody listens to it, if somebody's disinterested to listen to it, and they get something out of it, that's incredible for me. That's me happy. And I know the universe and the world will pay me back with joy, with other little things, in preparation for other opportunities. I know it all comes back to me, and that's what's freed me to allow me to give. And the more energy I give, the more energy that comes back. So I'm wishing you all the best, and keep serving, my brothers. Thank you.